there, fellow Scorpios. Thank you so much for stopping by for your monthly in-depth tarot forecast. This is going to be for the month of October. We are going to start with the time frame of October the 1st through the 10th. After that, we'll move through the month 1 week at a time. But for right now, we're going to just hit the first 10 days and see what kind of energy comes up for us during this time. Seems like there's not enough light here. Let me just adjust that real quickly. That looks a little bit less shadowy. All right, let's see here. We have cards that are trying to flop out, but not quite making it. That means we've got a lot going on. We have a lot on our minds in October. That's pretty much what that's telling me. And especially for this particular time frame. Let's take a peek at what shows up, shall we? La da, la da 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 da, la da 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 da. Okay, cards are on the table. Let's take a peek at our environment, and our environment is any place where we have energy or effort invested. Woo woo. What's going on here? We are really doing fantastic with our environment. I think that we are definitely making some decisions here. This environment is balanced out exactly the way we need it to be. If we work from home, this could be a situation where the balance is all there to be able to work from home and also, you know, have that home life that we want. I mean, this environment is fantastic. It's self-sufficient. I mean, this is good. We have really manifested the things that we want in our environment for the month of October. I'm liking it, liking it, liking it. Well, for October 1st through 10th anyway. Okay, let's look next at our subconscious leanings, fellow Scorpios. What do we have coming up here? There is some kind of situation from the past that we're feeling sentimental about, and I think we are daydreaming about it, feeling fulfilled about the situation from the past, but I don't think that there's any activity going on here. I don't think there's any messages from this past situation. Is that what's going on here? That doesn't make sense. Not with these cards. Okay, so I'm going to tell you my second translation when I look at this a little bit better. There is a situation where somebody's coming back from the past, and we're glad that they're coming back from the past. We're happy to hear from them. We're happy to spend time with them. But we may not be sure about this situation. I think there's a little bit of confidence lacking about, you know, what's going to come out of this situation. And that's where our subconscious is working on, like, what is going to come out of this situation? All right. Next thing that we're looking at talks to me about our learning style and also our communication style during this particular time frame. We are definitely studying money. Libra had this too, but I think we're really focused on finding out about money and ways to create money and make money and all of that good stuff. Money is not the only thing we're focusing on learning, though. There's a lot that we're interested in learning, and I think that a lot of this has to do with things that make us happy, things that help us heal around our heart chakra. And I think that there's some things that we've been studying in this area for a while, and we're starting to see some fruits of those studies. We're starting to see how learning about this stuff has impacted our lives in a positive way. We're starting to see the benefit or the payoff of that as we continue to grow and learn in that area. Now, I know that seems a little bit esoteric, but that's what's coming up here, Scorpios. Communication style. Talking to somebody about money. I think we're talking a lot less than we're learning. We're learning a lot about money, but I don't think that we're talking as much with people about money, but there is that topic that comes up and is highlighted here. I think we're also talking about emotions. We're talking about how different things make us feel. And I think we're also talking about different ideas we have moving forward, different things that we want to reach out and do and accomplish. So that's communication style. Let's take a peek now at work, fellow Scorpios. Workity, work, 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 workity, work, work, work. What do we have? This is interesting. So there is some serious confusion around work whenever we've got this showing up here. So confusion around work, but at the same time, that's why it's interesting. Things are easing up at work. Finances are actually loosening up. They're actually getting better. So we're bringing in more pay, but there's a lot of confusion around work. Maybe we don't know why we're bringing in more pay. Maybe we don't know why things are working the way they are, that we're bringing in more pay whenever it comes to work. And I think that we are getting to the point, even during this time frame from the 1st to the 10th, that we have to set up boundaries with work, where we have to say, you know what, I am only working so many hours a week, or I am only working during this particular time, or I have to have this amount of time off to go pick up my kid from school if your kid is in school, or whatever. But there's something here about I think work is just going to be so plentiful that we actually have to schedule off time during this particular time frame. And the confusion around this, I think the confusion around this is that we don't know where this boom really came from. Like, it doesn't make sense that we have this boom at work. And so that's where the confusion is coming in here. Let's look at inner work. Inner work. I think for us, our inner work has to do with protecting our energy and sort of setting boundaries around our energy. In other words, being careful about the things that we watch on TV, being careful about the conversations that we have with people, being careful about what we let affect our vibration and therefore our manifestation. So inner work is being diligent to stay on top of our vibration, and probably in spite of the fact that we're really busy at work. That's probably why this is coming up, is because we're so busy being distracted and pulled in different, a different direction. We're not having that time that we would normally take to meditate or to do our manifestation work. So this is really, the inner work is about making that time. That we're not going to just stumble into it like we have been, that we're going to have to actually make time for that. All right, next thing that I'm looking at talks to me about that part of our personality which is being grown or expanded during this particular time frame. We are coming into a situation where we have plenty of resources, and I think we're going to have to look at the idea of what responsibilities are we able to drop so that we have a balanced life, so that we're not spending all of our time creating resources, so that we have time to spend with people and on relationships. And I think that we may actually be, talking with somebody else about this, getting some advice from somebody else about, time management. Time management. How do we manage our time? And what do we set down? What is going to be, we're going to have to set some priorities here. What is it that we're going to let go of? What is it that we're going to hold on to as we move forward? Okay, so that's how I see us growing and expanding right here. I'm thinking that, having so much work that we have to prioritize, I'm thinking that's a good problem to have, aren't you? All right, let's look at something that we stand for. Times are good. Times are good. Things are rolling in a very good way for us. And we're finding an understanding of the idea that sometimes things have to be cut out so that there's room for the things that you want. And I think that once we come to that understanding, there is something we cut out. I mean, we just saw where we're growing and expanding is we had to set priorities and drop some responsibilities. This is basically talking about we've had this epiphany that we have to drop some responsibilities. And so we're cutting something out here. And this is something that we're having to stand up for. Maybe somebody is protesting and saying to us, wait, why? How are you going to cut that out? I need you to do that thing. And so how they see us after we explain that, we have to set priorities and take care of this, they're seeing us, is this them or is this us? They're actually pretty impatient with us. And I think we're going to know it. I think they're going to say something that's going to clearly indicate their impatience with us. And I think they're feeling like they thought that they wanted to collaborate with us on some things. And now they're starting to think that, well, maybe Mr. or Ms. Scorpio is the perfect partner or person to collaborate with, except that they've got so much on their plate that they really can't focus what we want to do with them. And so they're starting to have doubts about our appropriateness for them, basically. Okay, so what happens during our flex time? This is the time where things start to go in a little bit of a different direction for us during this time frame, okay? So what do we have? We definitely have some indecision around a partnership during this time frame. And it looks like we're feeling like we're having to make some compromise. And I think our confusion is how much compromise do we want to make to maintain this partnership? It all comes back to what the central theme is for this time frame so far has been setting priorities and cutting out those things that are not hitting the top of that priority list. And so this is coming back to that theme. This is, okay, this person wants me to put more energy and effort into our partnership, but I'm not sure if that's one of my top priorities right now. What if my top priority is just focusing on creating a solid retirement income? And this person wants me to take time away from that to spend with them. We may not be down with that. And so there's some real indecision here about how much do we want to compromise of what we are focused on to maintain this partnership. Is it important? Is this partnership important enough for us to compromise everything this person wants us to compromise to maintain this with them? Could be romantic, could be a business partnership. Could be either way. La da 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 da. What else is going on at the same time? We have something that we knew was fishy about a contract or an agreement that we were in, possibly a marriage. I consider a marriage a contract. And now there's some truth that's coming up about that contract or agreement that we're in. And we're deciding that once that truth comes up, we're deciding that we want to move forward with that contract or agreement. So here it looks to me like we're having this confusion about what do we want to do about a partner, and we don't know how much we want to compromise. Once this truth comes up, then it looks like very close in time, we make the decision, okay, I do want to move forward with this partnership. I do want to sacrifice whatever it takes to move forward with this partnership because this information that just came up has motivated us. What else is going on at the same time? Yes, we are deciding to let down our guard and pour out our emotions, possibly even pour out some of our finances for this person. I think that part of the truth that came up is that this person is willing to also invest at a similar level to us in this partnership, okay? Whether they're investing emotionally or whether it's a business partnership and they're investing financially or sweat equity or whatever, they're saying, you know what, I'm going to invest in this partnership too. And so we are sharing our energy or sharing our finances in this situation. And it looks to me like we're giving somebody a second chance here. So this person that we have this confusion about, you know, do we want to keep this partnership? I think it's come down to the point of this is somebody that is someone we've been partnered with for a while, or it's somebody from our past that is wanting this partnership with us. And it looks to me like we're taking this on. We're giving them a second chance. So we've been partnered with them before and something went down that wasn't too cool. And that would be the confusion of how much do I really want to invest in this partnership? Because if I get the same results that I got last time, then I'm just wasting my energy or I'm wasting my money. So when this bit of information comes up, we decide, yes, we're going to invest in this partnership. And I think that bit of information is that this person is also willing to invest in this partnership if we are. So we're giving them a second chance. Still, it could be a business partnership, could be a romantic partnership, could even be a friendship. There's nothing here that really indicates either one, business or like family type relationship. So this could be going either way, which probably means that we may have two relationships like this. We could have a business relationship where we've got a similar pattern going on and a romantic or a family relationship that is following the same track. We could actually have both. The fact that I don't see a pointer that says one or the other tells me that it's very likely that we have both. When I can't make a decision about something in a reading, usually it's because both are coming in. That's why I can't settle on one or the other. So we probably have a business relationship that's coming back from the past that we're sort of evaluating how much energy and effort do I want to put in this. And we decide because they're putting in energy and effort that, okay, we're going to go ahead and give this a second chance. We've probably got the same thing going on in some type of relationship situation, whether it's a friendship, whether it's a romantic partner, but some type of relationship situation too, where somebody is coming back from the past, or it's somebody that we've been partnered with in some way for a while, and things went down in an ugly way, and they are wanting to do things better this time around. And we are, because they want to put energy and effort into it, we're agreeing to do that. Probably both. Probably both having to do with work and with personal life. Okay, where do we see us at the end of this time frame? Okay, fellow Scorpios, what do we have here? We're definitely going back to something old. Well, we kind of already saw that in the flex time. We're going back to something old. I think that we're finding out that some of those feelings that used to be there are not there. Some of the draw, some of the attraction that used to be there is not there. Whether this is business or whether this is relationship, could be either way still. But I think that we are continuing forward because logically in our minds we're going, yeah, I know why that is. That's because of all the funkiness that happened before. But if we continue to work on this, I think that we are considering that attraction will come back as we continue to move forward with this. And so we're still sticking with it. We've thought this through, and we've basically made up our minds. We've made the decision that we're going to give this a second chance. And now, even though the feelings aren't exactly the same as they used to be, we're not too worried about that. I think we're expecting that those feelings will come back over time. So that's where I see us at the end of this particular time frame, fellow Scorpios. So let me go ahead and wrap this up, take a break. I'll come back, and then we'll look at next week. See you soon. Okay, fellow Scorpios, here we go. We're getting ready for our next time frame. Let's see what dates are those going to be. October 11th through the 17th is what we're going to be looking at this time around. Once again, we have cards that are jumping but not making it free to the table. Means we have a lot of activity, a lot going on in our minds, a lot that we're trying to sort out during this time frame. Again. Again. Some more cards that just tried to jump out and didn't quite make it. Okay, here we go. If they make it to the table, I count them. If they don't make it to the table, then that's just an indicator to me about what type of energy we're dealing with. That there's a little bit of chaos going on. Excuse me. Okay, Scorpios, let's look at the environment. Remember, any place we have energy or effort invested. Whew, okay. Wow. Last time frame we had such good cards coming up for the environment. This is kind of the opposite. Not completely, but kind of. It looks like we have something happening in the environment that we're ending up recovering from. So, you know, this could be like a tree limb falling in the yard that we have to remove or something like that. But whatever is happening, we're actually recovering from it. We're moving on. This is not holding us back in any way, shape, or form. I do feel like we're seeing our environment a little bit differently. We're not seeing it as much of an expression of us as we used to see it before. We're not seeing it as being such a good fit anymore. And it looks like, you know, if there's something old about the environment that is trying to come back, you know, I don't think that we're doing that. This could be somebody saying, you know, would you like to renew your lease? Would you like to refinance? We're not doing that. We're not giving this thing, we're not bringing that back to life, whatever this old thing is around our environment. We are recovering from whatever it is that hit our environment. We're bringing our environment back up to par, and it's actually going to be better than it was before. But at the same time, we're still feeling like, maybe this isn't the best fit for us. Whatever has happened, I think, has us looking at our environment a little bit differently. It feels like it has us more aware of pitfalls in the environment that maybe we didn't realize were there, or we didn't really take as seriously before. Next thing that we have showing up talks to me about subconscious leanings that we're having. Okay, fellow Scorpios, it looks like we are hoping actually, I want to clarify this before I start talking. All right, fellow Scorpios. So what we have going on with our subconscious is this idea of a partnership that has broken up, and we are hopeful that this can be mended, that this can be put back together, and that we'll be getting back together with that person. For many of us, we're looking at a romantic partnership here, and that's what's going on in our subconscious. So we've really had some things change from the first time frame to our second time frame already. Seriously change. Okay, next thing that we're looking at is learning style and also communication style. So, learning style. I think that there is a lot that we're communicating with the divine and trying to understand things by communicating with the divine. This could be things like doing readings, getting readings, just meditation, that type of thing. And I do think that we are getting a lot of information in that way. There's also something that we're wanting to find out about, we're wanting to research, and I think there's a lot of feelings about this, but I don't think that we're able to get that much information. It may be that we're even blocked off from that information some way. If this is, finding out about a person, it could be that this person has actually blocked us. And then also, as far as learning style, I've got something a little unique coming up here. It's like we're not open to letting other people learn about us right now either. So if this other person has blocked us, we may be blocking them as well. This may be kind of a two-way thing, because we're just not open to sharing information with them at this point. And the most information that we're getting, we're talking to the divine to find our information. Now, looking at communication style, there is a lot of communication going on with friends. So there's a nice support network around us. That's what that implies. I like that. Once again, comes up not only learning from the divine, but communicating with the divine as well. And I do think that there's also something going on where we are teaching somebody, and I think this is kind of unrelated to the rest of what I'm seeing here, but we're teaching somebody something because we are giving them information and then we're building on that information as we pass it along to them. So we may be teaching some kind of class, mentoring somebody, giving somebody some advice in a situation that is complicated, that you just give a little advice now, and when the person's done with that, you give them more. That type of thing coming up. Alrighty, fellow Scorpios, I'm not sure I'm happy with this. I like the teaching part. Alright, let's look at work. What's going on in work? Work actually looks like it's going well. We're able to stash some money away, which is nice. We're doing our own thing, very self-sufficient, without too many people looking over our shoulders, trying to tell us how to do what we want to do, being very creative, really self-propelled work. Self-propelled is like the best way that I can say about this. And we're being very decisive about the work that we're doing. We are the one in charge of our decisions whenever it comes to work. Now, as far as inner work, what's going on here? What I'm hearing is that we are finding our balance as we face the truth about a situation that we're probably not too happy about. But we're facing that truth, but we're still keeping balance. We're not fixating on that truth that we're not too happy about. We're focusing on, okay, yep, that happened. I'm accepting it. And now I'm moving forward. Not anything I can do about that now, so let me just walk forward and do what I can do about the things I can influence. Okay? I'm not going to say that we don't have feelings. I think that we do. But I think that we're just being very careful about what we focus on at that point in time. Okay. Where is our personality being grown or expanded right now? La, da, 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 da. There is something going on with home or with family that we're feeling very disappointed by. It looks like somebody is not willing to put in some energy or some effort. So we may have been planning a family reunion, and then we're hearing, well, somebody's not coming to the family reunion. And so we could be disappointed about that. There could be something coming in about the home that we're realizing, we're going to have to spend a lot of money actually on the home that we weren't planning on spending, and so we're disappointed by that. But there's something having to do with home and family where we're hearing some news, home or family, where we're hearing some news that we're not liking to hear, and that's bringing about some kind of disappointment. This could even be like a breakup with a romantic partner. That would be disappointing, just some kind of news that they're not interested in continuing on with the relationship. For some of us, lots of different ways that can play out. Okay, things that we stand for. So it looks like we are taking a break from some type of something. Whether that's the relationship or whatever. I'm going to say probably that relationship we just saw. We're just backing off. We're taking a break. I feel like this person has probably broken up with us. So we're emotionally, we're stepping back from it too. We're not, I don't see us trying to cling on or hold on. We're just stepping back too. We're like, okay, if that's what you want to do, that's what we're going to do. I do see a nice supportive friend network around us as we're stepping back. And so even though this is not what we had hoped for, and it's not, this is not a good time for us, we do have the support to get through this. And I think that, we're standing up for the idea. I think somebody is saying to us, well, you're hanging out with your friends a lot. You don't seem to be really... you don't seem to be really all broken up about this, did you not care about that person or whatever? They're sort of coming at us for the way that we're handling this situation. How are they feeling about us once they have this conversation with us? They're understanding that we miss somebody, and they're understanding that we feel like, it's just over. It just didn't work out well. And, we're just trying to close that chapter even though we missed that person. That's how they're seeing us. So I would say, from what I'm seeing here, I would say that's probably about right. Taking a break, hanging out with friends, using, taking advantage of the idea there's a support network to help us sort of stay afloat emotionally. I mean, we wouldn't be doing that if we didn't feel like we had been defeated, if we weren't missing somebody, and if we didn't feel like it was over. So I think that kind of gives us a perspective about something that's going on that's pretty major during this second full week of October. Now, looking at the flex point, this is where things start to change direction for us, although things definitely change directions in the middle of that one on us. Let's see what we have coming up. Yeah, okay, so it does look like there was an unfair decision that was made about us to stop making future plans. And, basically this looks to me like this was the end of a relationship. Somebody decided for reasons that really didn't have anything to do with us or anything that we did. Or at least if it was about anything we did, these were not decisions that were made in a fair way, but they have decided that, no longer are they wanting to participate or make plans with us as far as the future goes. At the same time, what do we have going on here? Yeah, we're not really trying to collaborate with them. We're just focusing on keeping our balance. Excuse me, and focusing on being patient. We basically have two balance cards showing up here. So we're just focusing on keeping our balance for ourselves, keeping our emotions under control and really moving on with our lives. without that person. It's like they chose not to be here. Well, okay, I'm going to deal with this the best way I can. Excuse me for a second. Sorry about the interruption. Got a little piece of dust in my throat and felt a coughing fit coming on over it, and I didn't feel the need to do that on camera in front of y'all. Just saying. But let's look at the rest of this flex point period. What else is going on here? So this is definitely a partnership that has come apart. And it's interesting because I think that as this partnership came apart, you were really preparing yourself that, okay, well, this is going to be the end of communication with that person. That's what we have coming up here. So it's the end of planning for the future. It's the end of collaboration. And you're preparing yourself that, okay, well, this person, you know, they aren't going to talk anymore. We're going to go back to being blocked. I think that you've hit a point of acceptance at this point, Scorpio. This kind of feels to me like this is a road that you've been down before, and I think that's why you're handling it, or we're handling it, as calmly and as coolly as we are, because I'm sure you all are aware, us Scorpios don't do breakups that well. That's definitely not our strong point. But we are handling this one. We're staying pretty balanced, and we're just preparing for the idea that this person isn't going to talk for us. Yes, we're sad. But this, you know, our whole lives are not just dropping out at the bottom like is what normally happens with us when we have a breakup like this. We're handling things. We're moving forward. And I'm also picking up, too, that this is freaking out the other person, because I think that in the past, because like I said, I do feel like this is somebody from the past. In the past, whenever there was a breakup, we sort of lost our stuff, man. And now this time we're just like, okay, well, par for the course. Let's keep moving. We're almost bored with it. We're almost bored with it. It's like, I feel like we anticipated all of this. We anticipated more than just the cutoff of communication. I feel like we anticipated that this was a possibility, that we wanted to give it a second chance and see how it would work out. But we knew that this was a possibility because I think something very similar happened to us before. Okay? But with us Scorpios, we're incredibly loyal. If somebody wants to work something back out with us, we might take them, depending what they say, depending how convincing they are. Because I think the reason we do it is because we don't want to ever think, well, maybe if I would have put in that much more energy or effort, things would have been great, and I missed out on that. We want to be able to look ourselves in the mirror and go, I did everything I could in that situation, and it did not fall apart because of me. Thank you very much. So I think that's really what's going on here, because like I saw in the last time frame, when we got together with this person, we weren't exactly feeling the emotions like we had the last time yet anyway. So I think we really got back together with them just because we wanted to say we'd done everything we could to make sure that this was really, you know, just to make sure that we could do the best we could with this and see where it led. Okay, anyway, let me get off of my rant there. Let's look at where we are at the end of this particular time frame. This is October 11th to 17th. Yep, at the end of the time frame, I think that we are still released from the other person, released from that relationship. And I think that, you know, this was a decision that was made not so much with our input. We're kind of forced into that situation, and we're not really feeling like it's something to celebrate. I don't feel like we're crying. I don't feel like we're devastated. I do think like we're sad. I think that we're frustrated here. We may even be doing a little self-medicating for a short amount of time or a small amount of time, but I don't see that even lasting long, because I think we kind of, you know, we knew that this was a risk that we were taking. Not that it makes it any easier, but it does make it that much less to process at the end when something like this does go down this way. Okay, so that's what I've got for the end of that time frame, fellow Scorpios. Let's go ahead and take a quick break, and I'll come back and then we'll look at week 3. See you soon. Welcome back, fellow Scorpios. So this time we're going to look at October 18th through the 24th. We're going to see what's going on, what kind of energies are moving through our lives at that point. See what's happening with that relationship situation that we seem to be taking so well. And other people are a little bit grumpy about how well we're taking it. Let's see what shows up this time around. Okay, fellow Scorpios, let's look at our environment this time and see what shows up. See what shows up. It looks like we've been spending some time alone. We've been going into an environment where we can spend some time alone, and we've been really understanding, really looking at ourselves and what are our priorities, what do we want moving forward. And we've been really getting some epiphanies during this time frame as we've done that. And now we're coming out of that recluse time, out of that alone time, and we're looking around and we're realizing there's lots of opportunities for us in our environment. There's a lot that we can choose from. There are a lot of ways that we can improve our happiness in our environment. And so I think, that's a really nice way to start things out. Yeah, we had to regroup, but we're coming out of this regrouping in a really good way and fairly quickly. Next, we're looking at subconscious leanings. Looks like the person who has released us in the past is already back saying, making little flirting comments, sort of implying that possibly we could get back together again. And I think we're kind of done with that situation. We're cutting that off. We're basically refusing to make any plans moving forward with this person. That's just not happening. And that's what's in our subconscious mind. Or maybe in our subconscious is this idea of, if they do come back, I can't move forward with them. This just has to be a done deal. Okay? Either way, your subconscious is really working on that. Our subconscious should say, because I'm a Scorpio sun myself. All right, next thing that we're looking at talks to me about learning style and also communication style. We're going to look at learning style first. We are communicating with the divine, as usual. We saw that last time around as well. Or maybe was it first time around? Either way, we're communicating with the divine. I think we're really communicating with the divine quite a bit during this time frame from the 18th to the 24th. Or learning quite a bit from the divine, I should say. Especially around, is there a full moon or a new moon during that time frame? Nope, quarter moon. First quarter. But there's definitely some reflection. That's what's going on. We are doing some reflecting as we are learning from the divine. Definitely. Okay, and there's a lot of that happening. There's also a lot of communication with friends, a lot of laughter, just finding joy and communicating with friends, or learning from learning from friends. I'm wanting to make this all about communication. Learning from friends. I think we're learning some things that make us happy, though. Definitely the way this is showing up on the card, I would say that. And we're also learning about building a project that we have in mind. And I think this is a project that, we've sort of had in the back of our minds for a long time, maybe in the front of our minds for a long time. And we're learning about, not just taking the first steps, but how do we build that? How do we scale that? How do we make it bigger? We're learning about that. As far as communication, I think that there is certain people that we're just not communicating with, especially when it comes to our feelings and our emotions. I think there's a lot of feeling around the situation with that person, but we're just not sharing that really with anybody, I don't think. we're being pretty quiet in our communications. We're basically, for most people, we're just communicating the basics. What do you need to know? What do you want to know? What is going to help you? We'll communicate that kind of stuff. Are you going to ask us about our personal lives? Yeah, we're not talking about that. That's not basic. Okay? And then there is somebody, you know, that's more in the inner circle that I feel like we are talking to them about all the emotions that we've been going through and dealing with and how we're feeling emotionally, and just the whole idea of the impact of letting that past go and moving forward. We're talking about that with somebody. That's going to be more with our inner circle, though. La da da da. What else for Scorpio? Scorpio. Okay, so now we're looking at work. Work is making a little bit more sense to me this time. We've got the High Priestess upright. You know, our work has to do with our intuition. So yeah, if you're a reader like me, that's a pretty obvious connection. Not every Scorpio is a reader though, but that doesn't mean that you don't use intuition in your work, that you're not led by that little inner voice. I know interior designers that tell me that they use their intuition all the time for their work. I know people who work in corporate settings who use intuition a lot for their work. They lean on it. You know, that's one of the strengths that feminine energy really has, is that, you know, we have this intuition that's strong, especially the more we develop it, and it really gives us the edge. It gives us the upper hand. And so there's really not any kind of job that you couldn't use intuition to help you to accomplish it in a more efficient and effective way. So anyway, for work, for Scorpios, for fellow Scorpios, I do see that you're using your intuition whenever it comes to work. It looks to me like there has been some type of competitive situation at work, and that competition is all gone. You are the leader of the pack here. Nobody else can really even hold a candle to you. What's interesting here, though, is that especially for those of you who have your own business, I think you may be feeling a little bit frustrated in that you want this business to go farther, faster, and I think you're a little frustrated. You're sort of looking for promotional ideas or ideas to get yourself out in front of more people in a way that would have them more interested in what you have to offer. For those of you who work for somebody else, this is feeling like, you know what, I'm feeling a little bit stifled where I am. I'm feeling a little bit bored where I am. And this is you starting to have those feelings. You may already be putting out resumes. If you're not yet, I think you will be soon. Okay? As far as inner work, I think for a lot of us, our inner work is really to call on that creative part of us right now and to think outside the box. We are very focused. Focus is coming to us pretty easily during this time frame, but creativity, that might be a whole other story. And so we're really working on developing that. And I think that is something that we're doing intuitively as well. All right. La da da da. Next thing that we're looking at, fellow Scorpios, is that part of our personality which is being grown or expanded right now. Okay, what's going on here? There is somebody who is an authority figure or who is a natural leader that's in our sphere of influence, and I think that whenever it comes to this person, we are feeling a little bit left out in the cold during this time frame. And I think part of that is because we have some real indecision around how we want to interact with this person. Do we want to make them our boss? Do we want to be a romantic partner with them? What do we want? I think there is something that they're putting on the table for us, but because we are not sure what we want to do with that, we're feeling a little bit left out in the cold, or like we just don't have enough For a lot of us, this is going to be that same person coming back once again and saying, hey, let's try to get together. And this is us, softening up from the first part of the spread. We were like, no, this kind of has to be a done deal. Now we're kind of softening up. There's that little bit of indecision. They must be saying something now that makes us think twice about it. But at the same time, they're also sort of holding their distance too, because we're feeling left out even as we're trying to make this decision, and we're feeling comfortable, or excuse me, uncomfortable about it. Okay? Things that we stand for. What's going on here? We are pouring out energy and effort, and we're trying to make a decision about which way to go. And we have multiple options here. Every option that we choose is a good option. We can't make a bad choice here. But there's something that has us all tangled up in our brains about this. Like, we are really just overthinking this. And we're having a hard time with making that decision because we feel like we're kind of locked in on something. The best thing to do in that case is to, step back and try to look at this situation objectively. That way we can see where our own perspective is what has us feeling locked in. But how is this other person perceiving us whenever we talk about this situation and how it's just taking so much energy to make this decision because we feel like we're locked in? They are seeing us as starting something new and as going in a direction. They're seeing us as being attracted to somebody who's a liar, basically, and starting something new with somebody who's a liar. So as we're telling somebody, we've got this choice, but we just don't know which choice to make, we feel like we're locked into which choice to make. This other person I think this other person is frustrated with us. This other person may be one of the options that we're considering. They feel like, well, you're starting all over again with this person that you already know is a liar. That's how they're seeing us. All right. Let's look at our flex point during this time frame. La da 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 la da da da. La da da da. But will you notice, the hold that this person has on us is kind of weakening as time goes by. We can't really decide if we want to be with this person or not. We have other options. We're trying to figure out which one would be better for us. So we're not just like jumping back to this other person. I think that's progress for us as Scorpios. That's progress. Probably healthy too. Okay, what do we have going on during our flex point? This is where things start to change for us. We are definitely stressing out over something that is really not over yet. There's somebody who is in love with us, or we're in love with them. This is not over yet. So with this being not over yet, I think we're still kind of stuck on this relationship that started back up in the first time frame, and now in the second time frame it went away. Now in the third time frame somebody's offering to start it back up again, and this has us totally stressed out. I think it has us totally stressed out because we're really confused. We're feeling like, I don't want to say I didn't do everything I could do to see this move forward, but I just don't know that I see this moving forward even with more effort put in. And so we're really having a hard time making that decision. What else is going on at the same time? We're feeling really vulnerable. We're feeling, pretty raw as far as emotions. Like anybody could step on us and we'd really feel it. But we also feel like we have everything that we need on our own. We feel abundant. We feel like we've got plenty, and we don't want to fight. We're kind of done with fighting. Okay, so basically whatever it takes to keep the peace at this point, because we're feeling kind of vulnerable, so we just want to keep the peace so that things stay calm around us. I want to clarify this again. Usually I don't clarify things in readings, but I think it's because it's a Scorpio reading that it's hitting a little bit close to home. Like I can imagine who this probably is. And I just want to make sure I'm getting it right, because it's a little harder to be objective when I know that this applies to me too. So I just want to verify before I actually start talking here. Okay, so what is this saying? Oh, okay, well that kind of surprised me. All right, so the other thing that's going on here is, looks like they've kind of worn us down, basically. And so we agree to start this over again. Again, this is the second time we've agreed to start this over in the same month with this person. And when we agree to start this over again, what's happening is this person is breaking up with somebody else so that they can actually be an appropriate partner to us. So, I mean, they don't want to play that game of going back and forth. They don't want to have somebody be on the side. They actually, they're not joking around when they say that they want to be back with us. And so when we finally cave and say, okay, let's try this again, then they break up with that other person, and it comes up to me, they're really happy about it, and it actually is something that improves our partnership. Now, do I feel like here's the thing. I did not have anything here showing that this person was married or taken before, or attached, however you want to say that. I don't feel like whatever was going on with this other person was something that was serious or that was long-term. Like, I don't feel like we're breaking up a marriage. I kind of feel like this person we were originally a couple. I feel like this other person came in sort of after the fact, and our person just went off after that person. And then realized, wow, grass isn't really greener, wanted to come back. We let them come back. Then that didn't work out. Now they're wanting to come back again. Well, maybe it didn't work out because there was this other person in the background, and now that they're coming back again, and now that they had to really work to get us back this time, now that we're agreeing to it, they're saying, you know what, let me give this a better chance at surviving. I'm going to get this other person out of the picture. Okay? And that does improve the relationship. How do we see Scorpios at the end of this time frame from October 18th through the 24th? Seriously. Oh, we've got a brain spinner going on. We're walking away. We're walking away from something that makes us feel depleted. We're putting down any kind of responsibility that we have to somebody else here because we just are not feeling very hopeful about this thing. So what happened here? Has this third person refused to be set to the side and they just keep showing up? What's going on here? Because we're just feeling like, you know what, this is just depleting me. I gotta go. I gotta go. We're walking away from this. We're not seeing any hope for this thing, even after what our person has done. So this begs the question, are we looking at this from a logical perspective? And something has happened that has made us feel like this? Or are we looking at this from an emotional perspective, and we're just imagining the worst and just getting out of there before it happens as a way of self-protection? What's going on there with us, Scorpios? Because we may want to look at that. We may want to look at the idea that this person is putting in the energy and the effort. They're really trying to make a go of it, and we're walking away like almost immediately after that. What's going on there? Are we getting triggered? Are we justified in what we're doing? I think that's worth examining as we come to the end of this time frame, and as these things start to unroll. It's worth us being really aware of the idea of, are we getting triggered, or are we being rational about this situation? We took them back. Why are we already leaving? We took them back. They're doing everything they can to improve the chances of this relationship working out, and we're hitting the road, Jack. Either there's more stuff going on here that's not showing up on the cards, or we've kind of lost our stuff here. One of the two. And it may be different for all of us. This may be something that would be a really good thing to get a reading on. To get a private reading, you know, not a general reading where we're just talking to all the Scorpios. Okay? So let me go ahead and close out this time frame, take a little break, come back, and then we'll look at the last week of October. Thank you for being here. Okay, fellow Scorpios, we are back. Once again, we just already had the very first card fall. We're going to take that because it did hit the table legitimately. Alright, so we're back and we're looking at the last week of October. This is going to be the 25th through the 31st. Seeing what kind of energies come up for us. Woot woot. Let's see what shows up. Okay, fellow Scorpios, let's start off with the environment. This can be home, work, school, anywhere where you have energy or effort invested. So we want to be kind of open-minded about the environment that we have here. So it looks like regarding our environment, there's some kind of rash action that we have taken. Could that have been the last thing we saw the last time around? There's some kind of rash action that was taken, and it looks like yeah, it looks like we took some rash action, which caused us to really come to the point that, okay, we need to forgive somebody. We need to let something go. I think this rash action, I think we're realizing that this was something that was triggered, and it was triggered because of old feelings. And so we're realizing we need to let go of some old hurts, some old wounds. And I think that we are preparing to do that during this time frame from October 25th to the 31st. Don't see us actually doing it. I just see us getting ready to do it. So we may be getting that realization that we need to. Now, subconscious leanings. It's interesting to me. It looks like we have stability, we have security. Things are going well for us in that area of life, but we are feeling heartbroken at the same time. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I know I've gone through a cycle for the last couple of decades where if I was heartbroken, my stability wasn't there. Emotionally, I wasn't able to put in the energy and effort to bring that stability in. Here, we're still seeing stability show up in spite of the fact that there's heartbreak coming in here. And I feel like we are definitely focusing on, in spite of the heartbreak, we're really kind of turning our back on that heartbreak. In other words, we're not focusing so much on the heartbreak as much as we're focusing on whatever it is that, you know, did we eat an amazing piece of a mozzarella cheese stick that was just out of this world to die for? You know, that's the type of thing that we're going to focus on, whatever makes us happy. Okay? If it's the income coming in, if it's the stability that we have, we're focusing on that. We are spending very little time focusing on any kind of heartache or heartbreak. And it looks like our subconscious leanings is that our subconscious mind is sort of engineering ways for us to pivot our focus away from the heartbreak so that we can look at other things and feel more happy instead. Pivot, pivot, pivot. All right, looking at learning style and also communication style. There are some things that we're learning about just by asking very direct, very much to the point questions and getting those questions answered. So definitely some information coming in here just through asking questions. You know, are we asking Google? Are we asking a mentor? Are we asking somebody who's been around the block before? But there's somebody that we are asking, some way that we're asking questions, and we are getting those answers in. So it's not like there's a big mystery here. We're just asking questions directly. There is an area of our life where we're looking for information, but it seems like there's not a lot of information readily available. And this doesn't seem like it's personal information to me. This doesn't seem like we're trying to stalk somebody or find out information about somebody. It doesn't have that kind of feeling. This is where we're just trying to research some kind of project or idea or hobby or something that we have. Maybe we're trying to research something medical. Whatever it is, it's like the information that's out there is very few and far between. And so we're finding what's available. I think we're getting the information that's available, but there's just not a lot available. So the learning in that area is really restricted right now. And then the last thing that we have coming up as far as learning style is we are taking some time to do some reflection, to think about ourselves, and we're learning more about ourselves and more about what it is that makes us tick. Okay, so communication style during this time frame, fellow Scorpios, I think that we are what I'm hearing is we're communicating loudly, but that doesn't exactly feel right. And then the next thing that I hear is loud and clear. So we're definitely sending somebody some messages, and they are hearing us loud and clear. I think that we're being very clear about what it is that we're saying, and definitely our volume may be a little higher than normal for this communication. The other thing that we have coming up is I think that there is something that we're unhappy about that we are communicating. No, this is why we ran away. This is why we ran away. There was some type of betrayal that happened, and we're talking about this to our friends. We're talking about this. We're talking about... I think we're basically saying, how could I have let that happen again? How could I have opened myself up to that again? And so there's something that's we're not happy about. We are talking about it to our friends. We're getting, some counsel, some different perspectives on that. And then as far as communication style, the last thing that we have is that we have a lot of support in standing on our own 2 feet. I know that sounds contradictory, like that's what just ran through my head even before I finished that sentence, but I think that we are standing on our own 2 feet here in this time frame. And I think that part of how we're doing that is through the support of others who are encouraging us, uplifting us, just telling us you've got this. That type of thing. Interesting. All right, Scorpio. Okay, next thing that we're looking at is work. It looks to me like work is feeling a little bit out of control for us. Now, we kind of had that on the first 10 days of this month too, where there was just so much work, it was really overwhelming. we're doing a lot of mentoring here. We're doing a lot of passing along good ideas to other people. So if we're in the consulting business, then consulting we're doing. Even if we're not in the consulting business, we may find ourselves in some sort of capacity actually consulting during this time. It feels to me, though, like where it comes up that we're out of control whenever it comes to work, I don't know that it's because things are happening so fast. But I do think that we may be tired. The thing that we're out of control of probably is our own energy. I think that we're feeling tired. We're feeling unenergetic during this time frame. So while we're doing a lot of consulting, I think we're really having to push ourselves here to get these things done, to do them in a way that makes our clients happy, or makes our employer happy, whoever our client may be. If you're, an employee on somebody's payroll, your client is that employer. So, yeah, I think we're really low energy. I think we're doing a lot of consulting, to, giving good ideas to other people in our sphere of influence when it comes to work. But I think work is out of control in that our energy level is out of control. It feels like, we're really pushing to be able to do everything that we normally would do. Okay, so let's see about inner work. Inner work really is about taking control back, understanding what's going on with our bodies and why we're feeling tired, and taking control back so that we can bring our energy back up. Actually, very much tied to what we saw with work there, our inner work is. We have our bodies as a way of expressing ourselves here on this planet. If we don't maintain our bodies, then we have problems expressing ourselves. So if we're running into issues where we don't have enough energy, then taking care of that body becomes the first priority, because what happens if we don't have this body? Then we can't express ourselves in this planet as an energy, as a spirit. And that's kind of what I see as being our inner work there. Taking control of that, getting that back on track. Okay, what part of our personality is growing or expanding as we go through this particular time frame? We are definitely thinking about things very logically. And we have this person that's coming back yet again. This is the third time now. Yet again. And we're just looking at this logically. At this point, we're cutting out our feelings. We're not paying attention to our feelings as we're making the decision here. And as logically, as we're thinking this through, we're realizing, I can't go forward with this. I can't make plans for my future with this person. And I think that a lot of why we don't want to make plans with this person for our future is because we don't know if they're going to be around tomorrow or in 2 weeks. How can you make long-term plans with somebody that you don't know if they're going to be there or not? They're not very settled. And we're looking for, if we're gonna partner up with somebody, which is questionable because we're pretty self-sufficient and independent. If we're gonna go to the effort of partnering with somebody, we want it to be somebody that's secure and stable, like we are. We don't want somebody that's in the door and out the door in 2 minutes, just long enough to put a plan together and then they disappear. Just long enough to convince us to invest in that plan and then they disappear. No. So that's where our personality is growing, where we're getting to that point where we're just saying, no, I just can't do this. I can't keep putting energy and effort into this the way things have been going. Okay? Now, what are you standing for right now? We are holding back. We're not happy. we're not feeling fulfilled as far as relationship. We are holding back on our feelings. We're not sharing our feelings with other people. And we're focusing on our own work. We're focusing on doing our own thing. We're focusing on getting out there and promoting ourselves. We're focusing on, bringing in the money in a fun way, in an inspiring way, in a way that we want to. But we have turned our focus away from trying to work on this relationship to, we're going to work on our own stability. Now, how do other people feel about us as we do this? So it's interesting. I think we're looking at this person that is trying to get back into our lives again. And this person has feelings for us. This person actually does love us. But at the same time, he or she is not willing to make us a priority in their life. And they're seeing us now as, we have too much going on. We have too much going on. They still love us, but they also recognize that we have where before we sort of had them on the throne. We had them as a high priority before. They recognize that they're no longer a high priority with us, that we have other things going on, other things that we're taking care of, and that our life actually is kind of hectic. And yet, they do still love us. They do still have feelings for us. It's going to be interesting to see where this goes. I'm kind of thinking, the saga has gone on a little too long already. We should know where this is going by now. Okay, looking at flex point. Yeah, we are not spending a lot of time with this other person. We're basically taking a break from them. We are paying more attention to the other opportunities that are around us. And I don't feel like we're looking at other people to date. I think we're looking at other things that make us happy, including increasing our own stability, our own wealth, our own security financially. And we're feeling like, if we don't have to spend time with this person, then we're free to do these other things that we want to do, these other things that we want to focus on. These things that we were focusing on before they came back the first time and said they wanted back in. We would like to maintain our focus. Thing is, we're really confused by this person because they're sending us messages that are just really kind of negative messages. And then they want to flirt with us and they want to do things with us. They want to spend time with us. And so we're really confused because the actions aren't really lining up with the words here. I don't think we're letting this confusion hold us down long. I think we're impatient with the idea that we're confused. We're in this place of, this should not be this hard. This just shouldn't be this hard. Like, even as a reader, I was just saying, looking at this, like, this saga should not be still going on. Somebody should have made a decision and we should be doing something. Either moving forward at a steady rate or done, but not this back and forth. And I think we're at the point right now where we're just impatient. We're tired of the back and forth. We're tired of the confusion. We're tired of words saying one thing, actions saying another. We're tired of it. And we're getting our groove back. We're focusing on ourselves. We're focusing on doing our thing because we don't want to keep having our heads spin in circles. We're not down for that. That's not what love's supposed to be about. That's not what partnership's supposed to be about. Okay, so where do we see ourselves at the end of this month, fellow Scorpios? I think we're a little bit off balance here. We had started to get our groove back. Now I'm seeing that we're a little bit off balance here. Oh no, I'm wrong. I'm wrong. Looking at this combination, I'm not We're not off balance. We're focused. We're focused here. And what we're focused on not talking to that person who's had our head spinning. And what we are focused on doing is we're focused on furthering something that makes us happy, whether it's bringing more financial security into our lives, a hobby, whatever. There is something that is more of a creative thing that we are much more focused on right now. I think that we have just decided, you know what, enough with the BS. Enough with the BS. I've wasted enough time focusing on this BS. It's not fun. It's just not fun to focus on that. And so I'm going to focus on something that is more fun. Okay? So that's what we have. Hopefully we will continue that momentum forward, focusing on things that are more fun as we move forward. But that's where we end the month. I like it that we're focusing on things that make us happy. That's a good thing. All right, so let me go ahead and wrap this up. Thank you guys for being here, for spending some of your precious time with me. I do appreciate that. I also appreciate all the thumbs ups on this video and all the shares that you guys have done so that other people can benefit from this video as well. Of course, thank you to those of you who are booking private readings and private Reiki sessions with me. Everything that you guys do, from watching these all the way up to booking a session, it all helps me to do what I love to do for my living. So really, sincerely, thank you all. If I don't see you here for a private reading or a private Reiki session between now and then I'll see you guys back on the next video. Peace out.